All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. Got breaking news for you guys coming out of Poland. It looks like there is a couple Russian Shahed drones flying overhead. We've heard figures as high as 6 F-16s have been scrambled. And as far as media goes, this stuff is literally coming out right now as we speak. So you guys bear with me. If none of you guys have taken part in doing these live tracking sessions of breaking news, welcome to the freaking party, because it is going to be a good time. All right, you guys are going to enjoy this. I promise you that. If you guys find things on this that you would like me to report on, because out of the hundreds and thousands of people that end up rolling in here, you guys honestly are also eyes. So as things break, make sure that you guys are tagging me in them over on X. You guys can see my X handle right down here in the bottom corner of the screen. Make sure you guys go over there, tag me in those different things so that I can actually see them. And please, when you guys do that, add a description to what it is that you are coming across. I know. We're waiting on people to roll in here. It is slowly coming in. Don't worry. So right now up over top, woohoo, love it, man. Everything just got all out of whack today. So right now up over top of Poland, we are tracking this aircraft, the Thunder 1. All right. And that is an actual AWACS system that's up in the air detecting those drones. I see you guys are a little bit worried about the volume, so don't worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and bump up the volume for you. Give me just a sec. I'll get it going. Every single time this ends up happening. We're going to go ahead and add that. That should help you guys out quite a bit. I'm going to add just a couple more as well. So if you guys ended up having your audio turned down, now it should be nice and crisp for you, coming in just a tad bit louder than normal. Hopefully it's not too distorted or blown out. Mike Veter coming in, gifting out a Speak the Truth membership as well. Thanks, Mike. Greatly appreciate that. All right, let's get that up over here and start taking a look at flight radar. And start tracking that aircraft so that you guys can get a live view of what it's actually doing up here on the screen. Did get word right before this. I'm going to bring up Texas here in just a minute because he's actually tracking a lot of this. A NOTAMs ended up getting issued over Poland. So notice to air traffic missions ended up getting issued over Poland, and it says that Rzeszów is closed due to unplanned military activity. That ended up getting put out just a little bit ago. Reports have came out trying to state that 2 of these drones so far have been shot down. Also found another one that said some of these drones have been originating from Poland, or that they were tracking a Shahed drone not near Poland, near Belarus. Now, recently, as Russia has launched these attacks on Ukraine, we have actually seen aircraft, drones being fired into Ukraine from Belarus, going down up over into Kiev and smashing into there. There's also a significant number of drones that are currently flying up over top of Ukraine. This is a very big uptick in activity. I did see some reports that were suggesting that there's up to, I think, about 10 or so drones that are heading towards Poland right now. Blown out eardrums are not service related. You're welcome, sir. Yeah. Hey guys, it's me, John Volume Denier. I'm here to deny the volume and stuff, which is totally fine. I just want to be an inconvenience. Also, pants check. Yep, that sounds about right. Let me just go ahead and check the volume real quick on my end. Oh yeah, that sounds beautiful, man. It's actually nice and crisp. It's just really surprising because, it was just giving me all sorts of issues today. This report also exists right now. It comes out of Euromaidan Press. Poland finds what appears to be a Russian drone near the Belarus border. Officials won't say if it was tracked on radar, so that ended up coming out just a little bit ago. Authorities found styrofoam fragments scattered across a field 300 meters in a Polish border checkpoint. Drone had acrylic tags, meaning it had Russian writing essentially on it, but it could have also came from Belarus. It could have came from anywhere at that point. So they're saying that it ended up falling near the Polish homes. The drone fell about 300 meters from the Polish border checkpoint in the village of, I can't pronounce that to save my life, according to local prosecutor's office. Nearest residential buildings were just 500 meters from the crash site. Authorities confirmed that the object did not explode upon impact, but that the fuel ignited after the crash. Now, what could be a possible explanation for this? There are people saying that these are Shahed drones, but in the past, we have seen Russian probing attempts into NATO countries with different drones, and people are saying that, maybe Russia is just over there probing. Now, this is not the first time in history that munitions from Russia have made their way across Ukraine and across the Polish border and actually splashed down over there. Things such as cruise missiles and drones have actually exploded over inside of Poland. So that's not, shouldn't become too big of a surprise to you guys. Again, that trite that we're tracking, Thunder 1, has been up in the air, and it's an AWACS system. So for those that don't know, that is there to actually detect military, well, maybe not military targets, but aerial targets for the Polish military to be relayed back and forth. And they do integrate into different systems. And so this aircraft that's up there flying is going to be able to detect those drones and be able to shoot them back to be able to get them. Somebody says recon drone. It's a very good question on what you consider a recon drone, because I don't think Russia really has a need to be sending that many recon drones up over and towards Poland. Likely what you're seeing, if it's what I think it is a probing attempt by Russia to go into Poland to see how NATO's actually going to react to what they're doing. It's also an uptick in escalations over the last several days, with Russia firing over 800 drones in one night, including ballistic missiles and cruise missiles over at Kiev and several other surrounding areas. Just this morning, I reported on a strike out in the east that ended up taking the lives of, I believe it was 20 civilians on the ground in eastern Ukraine. Russia has had a significant uptick. You know, earlier it was just 300 drones or 400 drones, and it was 500 that got fired at Ukraine in one night. Now we have over 800 that ended up being fired. That is a buttload last night that ended up going over there. Matthew Childs coming in with €5. He says reports of drones entering airspace of Slovakia and Moldova as well. Really? Holy freaking cow. Now, Moldova is not a first. I know we've had plenty of, or not plenty, but a few munitions impact, if I remember correct, splashing down in Moldova. So now we're going to have to go check for that and see where those are at. The Swamp Cleaner says justice for Irina and Austin Metcalf. Yep, I could understand that. Old Man Weiss says, did France just tell hospital to be ready for a large casualty event in the next 6 months? Yes, they did. That report came out a couple days ago that France was bringing that up. Dara the Wholesome, hey guys, it's me, John Volume Denier. Oh, yep, sorry, I already read that one. Gosh, I am slightly retarded. Michael Veter coming in gifting out a Speak the Truth membership. Brado Black, Hold My Quran, Matt, and Rob. Yep, you are correct. We do need to get some more Hold My Quran shirts up and running. I freaking love those things, man. All right, so yeah, let's go check out that Moldova if you guys ended up attacking me in that stuff. And while this incident's unfolding, I'm actually going to go ahead and mention this as it gets up, because it does pertain a little bit, because I did tell you guys, and I'm going to go over there and check on the situation here. It's not a USA wax, no, it's Polish. Well, it's not a Polish aircraft, actually. It's a different one. I've got the facts and figures for you on that. If you actually want to know about that, give me 1 sec before I report on that knucklehead over there. This aircraft in particular, I'll get this up on the screen. I thought I took a screenshot of it. I did, but I didn't write it down, what country it originated out of. But the Polish military ended up acquiring it from another country. It wasn't produced there. I'm trying to remember where it ended up coming from. So here we go. Reports of the drones over Slovakia. I see you guys are actually reporting that to me. Don't see anything that I'm tagged on that one, but I would like to check for the drones over... What the heck was the name of that other country that you guys had just mentioned? I am brain farting on this one pretty dang hard. Yeah, Moldova. There we go. Doing my best to verify these things for you guys as we go. Yep. So, yep. And unverified that they are Russian drones over Moldova and Slovakia. It's multiple outlets are now reporting on this. They are claiming to be attack drones, not reconnaissance drones, and it looks like it is coordinated multi-country incursion. That's coming out from Mario Noffel's channel. We go and we take a look at this, at just the amount that ends up, and I don't know. Intel Schizo put this out. Normally he gets some pretty accurate stuff. Give me this here. Excuse me as I grab this one up on the screen. I do like Intel Schizo. He does really good work over there on X. And tends to put out very, very accurate stuff. So let me grab this one and get it up on your screen here for you. Give me just a sec. And I want you guys to take a look at that wave of drones that we have flying over Ukraine right now. Some of them coming from Russia. Some of them appear to be originating from Belarus. But you see multiple of them, like I had told you guys. All right, so to orient you guys, you have Kiev right down here, Lviv's over here, and then here it appears is where we have all of these coming in. Now this would be from Belarus, so it looks like they are crossing the border from Belarus and making their way over there. Right here on this map, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 possibly that are heading that way. Right before I ended up going live, I was tracking probably somewhere around 10 So if Intel Schizo is putting this out, he mostly has very accurate information. He does his homework and he does his digging. So I would assume that he ends up having that. As far as things going down into Moldova, that's what this would look like right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, heading down over here into Moldova. So that would be those reports coming out that's where those are going. Texas, I'm assuming that is you sending me some signal messages. Let me go grab those and pull those up. No, it's not. It's Amanda. All right. Yep. All right. Let me grab this and get that up on the screen as well. This is that in relation to the NOTAMs that I ended up putting out. It's the Rostov Airport. Ended up having that closed down, and this came out from OSINT. It looks like the Reznow Airport in Poland is also being closed. All right, so that's where that sucker's located. Here you can see it right here on your screen over near Lviv, which happens to be the same general location where we have that AWACS system that's actually flying around over there. Let me grab that sucker and get it up on the screen. Ooh, shiza. What do we have here? And there we have what appears to be an F-35, not available from Lockheed Martin. So now we've got confirmed F-35 overhead inside of Poland. You guys can see that right there. That sucker just took off. So F-35s are now taking off. It looks like there might actually be something a little bit more credible to this. It just says military government that's up there and flying. I'm not sure if Poland has those or if those are U.S. aircraft that are over there that just ended up coming up on the radar. I'm sure you guys can see that right there on your screen. F-35 that's now tracking up over top. Simply freaking amazing that that's actually up and running now. So F-35s work very, very good integrated with that AWACS system. So they're going to be able to pull any of that information about those drones that are coming out. And they have some decent standoff munitions that they're going to be able to fire in the effect of all of that going off. My signal chat is now blowing up. Yep, and he is blowing that as well. AWACS ended up killing its transponder, and the F-35 is now airborne. So with that being said, as we look at this, I'm going to go ahead and come back over here. I'm going to pull this off the screen and go and open up my messages, and I want to start a chat. Yeah, of course. Texas, I don't even know how I wasn't friends with you on this thing in the first freaking place. Let me see if I can. Texas, can you go do me a favor? Just send me a video call up over on the Discord because I just have so many dang things going on. My mind is exploding. I don't understand why I'm having a problem with it. There it is. I got you now, buddy. Let's go back over to that flight radar, checking out that F-35 as we're tracking that over top of Poland as we speak. Just ended up launching with that AWACS going offline. Texas, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
I got you. Hold on, let me just do audio real quick.
Yeah. What are you hearing over there?
So they're definitely Shahid and Gren style drones that they're using. That's what they're tracking right now. And as far as what is confirmed, meaning like the sources that I'm looking at are saying that 9 entered Polish airspace.
Yep.
There is another AWACS coming online right now that Italian AWACS took off from Finland or Estonia, one of the two, heading towards the AO.
Estonia?
And yeah, it was stationed over here. Let me track it real quick. And the refueler, if you track the refueler, it just got into a refueling orbit.
There's your
so you
AWACS.
Can see it's actually, yeah, there's the AWACS. It's an Italian Air Force AWACS, took off of Estonia and heading towards Poland.
That's got, what, like an hour or so before it's probably going to get down there. But yeah, that's going to actually help
like
cover
that. It's moving fast too.
But it's going to help cover some of the airspace, you know, because that AWACS has the ability to project out and everything, and then they start integrating together.
Yeah.
And so, you know, seeing that some of these aircraft are coming out from Belarus, I mean, obviously, you know, you have some coming out from Belarus going up over into Poland. That suggests a whole other freaking, you know, crapshoot of things that might be going down. So, and it looks like.
So, there's a message right now that Poland has engaged. Again, it's from not my most confirmed sources. Like, I wouldn't sleep on this. Like, I wouldn't bet on this source. But engagement has started. There is confirmed from the 7 attack drones over the Polish territory right now from this source.
Ooh,
F-16s,
dude, look at that.
F-35s, Saabs. There's another one.
That's a F-35 refueling right now. It looks like
Yeah,
you
I
got a
told you
NATO
that it went into
refueler.
yep,
Yep.
it went
So
into refueling airborne, and I told you you're
so
gonna
it's
see
gonna
that. That's
flick
why I
its
was
radar
writing in the
off pretty
message.
soon.
I wrote you in the message. I said if you want to know where the fighters are, just track once the refueler goes into air in its
Well, that
refueling
means
loiter.
that we've got multiple aircraft because the
100%.
yeah, the what's it called ended up the AWACS system ended up flicking its transponder off. So that was
Yeah.
AWACS can refuel. So then you're going to have this
Yeah,
sucker up over there.
I think they killed the transponder for a reason. I think so. It jumped
Yeah,
from
I bet they're turning
4,000
it on
live
to
watches to
refuel.
10,000 live watches on 24 in like a matter of 5 minutes. People were tracking. There were over 10,000 people were tracking that plane live.
Yeah,
So
they're
I wouldn't. Yeah, you can see right now the F-35 is literally under the belly of the. They're flying literally under each other. So the jet is at 23,950. The refueler and the fighter is at 23,975. So they're like, I mean, obviously it's
yeah.
not going to be accurate by the
So
meter,
I
but
see
yeah,
people that are
they're
asking questions. Hold on. So people are asking these questions. So I need to explain to them the significance of this with an additional AWACS on the way. It is, you guys are asking, what is an AWACS system? It's an airborne warning and control system. It's essentially a flying radar system that they're going to be able to start tracking these drones as they come in. The F-35 is a stealth fighter jet. There was rumors to be F-16s that were up in the sky and flying over Poland. Now we've got confirmation of F-35s that are up there. AWACS system integrates particularly right in with that F-35. And what you're looking at on your screen right down here in the middle, what we're tracking is an F-35 that's falling right behind a refueling tanker. So we ended up seeing its radar flick on not that long ago. Right, literally, like right over here is where that radar system for the F-35 flicked on right before it began its refueling operations. So it flew, pretty. I don't have no idea how long it's been up, what it's been tracking, whether or not it shot things down, but it's definitely remaining in the sky for a very good reason. And that very good reason has to do with where did I put it? This right here. All right, the amount of drones that are currently being tracked on their way into Poland. Go ahead, Texas. Sorry about that, buddy. I just want to make sure I explain the significance of that to these people.
Yeah, it's good that people understand it. It also like I'll tell you this. So I know that I can't speak for Poland because I'm not in Poland, but in Ukraine, where I am, you know where I am. I'm actually not far from where all this is going on, and at the moment, and like I went out for a smoke before you went live. We were talking about this, and we started tracking this. I went out for a smoke, and like I just was on my phone looking down, smoking, and looking at this, and then I don't know if it was a pair or more than a pair, but definitely a couple of fighter jets flew over my head. So I know that Ukraine has. I couldn't tell you what it was. It's dark. It's nighttime here, so I couldn't tell you if it was like Western F-16s or something similar. I could tell you that there was a pair of fighter jets that moved very quickly over my head, and I guess they're running this side of the border also. Um, yeah, and about the Slovakia thing, I don't know. I haven't seen any confirmation. I heard about Moldova,
Yeah,
but I haven't heard anything about Slovakia. I haven't seen anything happening, but I could tell you that Rzeszów Airport is completely shut down. It is a pretty busy airport. It's nothing like Krakow or Warsaw, but it is a pretty busy airport, and it's shut like completely. There's no in and out traffic, and there's zero transponders
right.
on there. So it looks like the EW systems are on as well. And yeah, you could see if you're tracking that tanker, it's still refueling.
Yeah,
And
we're
it's
still
in a
watching it refueling.
figure eight.
Yep.
I'm
It's just
trying to
gonna.
see if anything else is coming out of any other European countries right now. I'm
So
trying to track if there's
as
more
far as
NATO assets being pushed.
Moldova, if you look at the YouTube screen, you'll be able to see it. I don't think you'll be able to see it in Discord because
Yeah,
it's
I
not
see.
working
Yeah, I
right.
have it open.
Yeah, so
I
you
wanna
do
look at
have multiple drones that are being reported as flying down in towards Moldova. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those likely have entered into Moldova's airspace. Speaking of which, while I'm tracking that particular drone, I should probably go take a look at Moldova's airspace because that refueling tanker is going to be up overhead. So let's go take a look at Moldova and see what we have flying up over there currently to see if there's anything that
Pretty empty.
would suggest that's going on. Moldova's airspace is empty. As a matter of fact, this guy ended up taking off. He's flying to Tel Aviv, though.
Yeah, that's a normal route because a lot of Odessa people go to Moldova there to fly out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Moldova's pretty empty. But
so apparently today, I'm reading about this today. I'm reading about this right now that apparently today Poland announced that it's officially closed its Belarusian-Polish border.
Oh,
due to something. So officially they closed it today, and I don't know. Again, these are all like it's happening like within the last like few minutes. So like been tracking mostly this. I'm trying to track the drones. I'm looking on the Ukrainian side's a message. There's a video. Polish Air Force fighters in the sky. It's just a dark video where you see the lights of a fighter jet.
You know, DM it to me.
Yeah, I'll just do that right now. Hold on, I gotta get it off.
Yeah, not on Discord. If you send it on X, it'd be very helpful.
Yeah, I got you. Just send it right now. You just see like the lights of a jet. I guess it's on the drone bombers. He just posted it. There you go.
Trump moved immediately. I don't know what that means. What is Donnie up to right now? Oh, he had a meeting. Is that what happened?
Who?
I'm going to go check to see if the White House... I want to go over there and check on that in a little bit.
The White House was supposed to be live while all of this was happening.
Exactly. All right, you sent that video to me. I'm going to go ahead and get that up on the screen.
Yeah, it's just the video that drone bomber just posted. Apparently that's Polish fighter jets. Right now there's 16 minutes ago. Locals in Poland tell us, and this is a Fajtuk's network, which is a Polish like media network thingy.
So
locals in Poland tell us they can hear jets over near Warsaw and Lublin.
Okay. So
not jets,
I've got a
drones.
DM. I haven't confirmed this yet because I'm tracking too many things. I got a DM that said the border between Poland and Belarus was closed due to close proximity exercises between Belarus and Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So saying that that's not related though, brother.
Yeah, but it was announced today.
I'm sorry, that seems extremely related. That would be something that Russia would say is that is unrelated. But at the same time, they were saying that the military exercises that they were conducting over near the Ukrainian border were simply just military exercises. So I don't necessarily know if we can believe them. I want to roll through some of these questions because we got some super chats coming in. Stephen Cahill says, has Poland closed the railway line coming out of Belarus to Little Russia? Is that true? Yeah, that border ended up getting shut down, so that is likely going to be included in it. Matt McDonald, becoming an Ultimate True supporter. Appreciate you, brother. Leaf Eric Johansson. If Putler testing Article 5 before it explodes in the Middle East, does that coincide? Yes, it does. Because, one, I was going to bring this up. Obviously, Iran and Russia have very close ties, and Russia has kind of backed up Iran on their uranium enrichment. Iran actually just signed a brand new agreement with the IAEA today, saying that they were basically going to disclose, the status of their nuclear facilities or their enrichment facilities and uranium. They basically had forced them to agree to everything, even though Iran said it wasn't going to do it. So that happened, but also the bombing over inside of Qatar today, and that opens up a lot of freaking questions over some things that are going to take place, and I'll touch on that here in just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Iran's got some serious issues going down, and I wouldn't put it past them. With Israel going to move on Gaza City after the assassination attempts, if you will, took place over in Qatar today, for Iran to actually step up their rhetoric and or start firing ballistic missiles and things like that over at Israel. Joe Sanders says, how likely could you tell between a drone observing and a drone that is targeting, meaning acquiring a target?
Sorry to cut you off. I just got a notification. DEFCON 2. Trump is reportedly on the way to the Pentagon, and Russia's currently launched a drone attack on Poland and Moldova.
Yep, there it is. So where'd you get that
Trump is on
from?
the way to the Pentagon. Just for I don't know, just a post here. So I'm trying to track here
All right. So if
what
that's just
is
a
going on.
post, do me a favor before you announce some things like that. Let's make sure that that's confirmed before we say that,
Trying to
or
track
at least
this.
have a source for it, because people like to say things like that. So
Uh,
because that doesn't really make
the White
sense to
House
me.
pool has been loaded into a motorcade for destination unknown. I'll just send you this. So somebody did comment something on there. Uh, Here, I'll send you this.
Yeah, I don't see anything about that. So yeah, feel free to send it. But I'm looking for things that are actually source verified, not just random people blowing things out, because that's what they tend to do, and it just drives me nuts. So I want to make sure that the information that we are putting out on this has been verified.
This is from an official White House press pool.
Okay.
Pool is being loaded into a motorcade for destination unknown. It's from
Who's
the New
that?
York Times press.
New York Times says that Trump is being put in a motorcade to head where?
So, no, the New York Times reporter Maggie Herman. I sent you the actual screenshot of that, so you could just read
Where'd
it.
you
It
send
says basically on X.
Okay.
You can just read it. In-town pool report number 9 loading into motorcade. Destination unknown.
All right, it's up on the screen. All right, from Maggie Haberman, White House pool, posted automatically. Pool is being loaded into a motorcade for destination unknown. All right, is that Trump's call sign then?
I have no idea. I'm just saying what
Yeah,
what the
I don't
reply
know
is.
because they do have the Situation Room inside the White House. So I would expect them to, be doing it from there. Might be somebody
Yeah.
else's call sign. So DEFCON 2 is for the Pizza Index, allegedly. Holy cow. So if you guys are Pizzagate subscribers, looks like we have something that actually goes along into that. Like to go ahead and answer this question from Joe Saunders. Said, how likely could you tell between a drone observing and a drone that is targeting, meaning acquiring a target? Possible, not possible. So those drones, like as far as those AWACS systems are concerned, are going to be able to pick up like that particular signature of them, and then they're going to have to go over confirm it with like some other things. Thing is that they're like one-way suicide attack drones. They end up getting pre-programmed for their intended targets, where they're heading. Those Shaheeds, they're not FPVs, right? Like they are literally like
Well, they
point and shoot.
upgraded them, so there is now ones that have they have cameras on them. They have cameras on the rear of them. They've even deployed underbelly now canisters that hold like small AP anti-personnel mines
Okay,
on them
so
that will release it before doing that. So they've
they
done that recently, yes, over the last 6 months.
so they do have a brand new FPV version then, but it's limited.
It's not
And
like an
this is a
FPV, it's
big
more like
right.
a camera mounted under it, yeah.
Right, but this is a big wave that's ended up going out there. Incock Faraday says, if some are coming from Belarus, Ukraine could airmail a reply. Yeah, I agree with that. That needs to happen. Anthony says, if those drones going into Poland actually hit something, do you think it will trigger Article 5? Poland has some F-35s, by the way. That's good to know. I kind of figured they did, but I don't want to put things out unless I know for sure. Swamp Cleaner gifts out a Speak the Truth membership, and that kind of catches us up to par right now as we go through that. So, yeah, as far as Article 5 is concerned, like I mentioned with those previous cruise missiles, and I believe a couple drones have landed over inside Poland. I know for a fact some have like splashed down inside of Moldova. There is always an excuse by Russia, and even NATO ended up writing it off and kind of accepting these things of saying that, well, they were just misprogrammed. The issue that we are currently seeing with this is there's no way of stating that you just have a slight misunderstanding of these drones here. I mean, we're talking about quite a few that ended up getting fired. What were we saying, 10 right now that are entering over into that airspace that they are currently tracking, if not more. And so that's a buttload, man. And I don't take that lightly. I don't say that lightly. It's just that's a lot of dang drones. All right. I want you guys to take a look at this. This is about 30 minutes stale. So a lot of these drones are likely already in there. But I also want you guys to observe that a lot of these drones that are being fired into Poland ended up coming out of Belarus up in the north as indicated on this map. So it's not just Russia we're looking at on this sucker. It is going to be Belarus as well if Article 5 is enacted. Go ahead.
So a mutual friend that we have, we're not going to name,
Yep.
contacted me. He's on listening now, and he's on with a buddy of his on the phone or something that uh is in Warsaw currently and is reporting that there's a lot of drones and everything is, I guess, shutting down over there.
Over
He's
Warsaw.
live in
Really?
Warsaw. Yeah, he's there's drones incoming or something like that. I'm just reading what he wrote, but it's somebody that we both
Yep.
100% uh is a trusted source
Let me
that we
check.
both know.
Yeah, I see it right now. Um, yeah, I see that. Yeah, it's verified. Okay, I see him. Let me message him back. Just gonna double check to see if we got any reports of impacts that are coming in over there as well as I get that in there.
The thing about
Yeah,
most people
all
don't
he says,
understand
he
about
just says,
Poland.
"Wow, dude." Yeah, he just says it's a lot of them.
Yeah. Um, um,
So it's gonna be way
the
more
thing
than what's on
about
the map.
that people don't understand about Poland, that if you haven't been to Poland, especially Poland at night, in this part of Poland, it is really quiet and calm. Like people go to sleep early. There's not a lot happening. There's not like late night stuff in most bars. Like obviously there's gonna be bars and whatever in cities, but I'm talking about for the most part, like if you drive the drive between the Ukrainian border and Krakow, for the most of that drive, you're gonna drive through just normal, quiet villages and towns and stuff like that. So for most people, it's not gonna be like if a drone hits like Gaza or if a drone hits like in the middle of like a
Okay.
populated city where there's like people walking around with cell phones and somebody can pull out a cell phone. Most of these people that live here are like, family people that will be at this time of the night. It's almost 2 a.m. in Poland,
Yeah.
so
So somebody commented and said Trump was just interviewed eating some seafood in D.C. a little bit ago, so it must not be that big of a deal. That's not necessarily true. Because this is taking place over inside of Poland. Obviously, we have military that are on the ground over there. We have like lots of different NATO forces that are over inside Poland. All of this stuff, it would be foolish, honestly, for Trump just to pack up and run away every time something goes down. He's going to let the situation develop a little bit. There's going to be people that are keeping him posted. He's definitely going to be informed of the situation. And then if there becomes an incident, once things start blowing up inside of a NATO country, because this could just be, a test. There might not necessarily be weapons on these drones. It could just be an incursion of the airspace in Russia playing games. But, the moment things start blowing up, that's when it becomes a problem. And, we've got some feelers
I
out
mean
over there right now. And there is
it's
reports of
also
these being
just
shot down, by the way.
yeah, like I've already seen for the first time in 78 years, Polish Air Force has engaged the target. Um, what I could also say is it comes just right after the new Polish president had his first and such a soon early presidential visit to the White House, and some of the statements that came out of that visit was, Poland is our greatest friend. We're with Poland all the way, and they were talking openly about how much Poland has been purchasing weapons from the United States and how Poland is this whole, like they were talking a lot about openness. And this was very pro. Like Trump is like, he endorsed the Polish new president before while he was running for president. He
Mm-hmm.
endorsed him, and he actually said like how proud he was that he won. He's a good friend. He's a very strong man, and blah blah blah. All of this comes within the week of all of this going down. So I wouldn't put past Russia to be like, you know what? Let's just see what happens if we just say that this was meant for really Western Ukraine, but they veered off because of
You can't do it
Ukraine's
with that
EW
many.
systems or
You can't
something.
do it with that many. You can't do it with that many. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely nuts.
Maybe there's another theory here that a friend sent and saying that they actually uh they weren't meant to send that many to Poland. They were hoping that most of them will get shot down in Ukraine on
Mm-hmm.
the way to Poland like it normally does, and one or two will go through. But I guess Ukraine was busy shooting down other stuff that more than one or two made it through. I guess that's another theory. Just just reading off like my DMs also kind of blowing up, and I'm trying to sift through.
All right, looks like reports of Italians joining in on the fight. I'm not sure if that's the same F-35 that we were tracking. That says United States Air Force on that one. So we got U.S. says U.S. Air Force on that one. Is what that one's registered
U.S.
on.
Air Force F-35.
Yep, the F-35.
Yes.
Yeah, I somehow missed that earlier. And then we did confirm that we have a Polish AWACS that's on its way down there. This is Trump.
No, we have an Italian AWACS.
I'm sorry, yeah, Italian AWACS. This is Trump going out for his seafood dinner. What is that, 14th and something? I can't even read it. So downtown D.C. somewhere, going to get his freaking food.
There's right now reports. It's again reportedly with photos. I'm gonna send it to you. You can verify for yourself if you want to put it out. But there's reports of a downed Grand 2, which is one of the bigger Shahid style drones. And you see a police presence in Poland, a police presence blocked off. I'm sending it to you right now.
Thank you.
In X. There you go.
Yeah, I don't care about Pizzagate. Get that off. I do appreciate you guys sending me the stuff on pizza. We do have confirmed uptick in pizza deliveries to the Pentagon. Just FYI. All right. So, yeah, reported photos from the scene. City of Zborsk.
That looks like a Polish police officer to me, by the way.
It sure does. All right. So there you have what appears to be parts of drones down in the street.
Oh, Boże.
Looks very Polish street to me.
Yeah, it looks
Oh,
pretty.
Boże.
Can't really make out what it ended up doing, but that's not a detonation. That's just fuel fire.
No, it looks like there's just a blocked off area where there's debris.
Yeah.
Most probably from an interception. Because the thing about the Shahids, I've watched interception of a Shahid drone from not very far of a distance. It was intercepted by some sort of SAM system, and for the most part, after the impact, there is a few fall. Like the only thing that is normally like actually burning on impact is like the area right next that attaches to the motor where it has the fuel and like the motor area. The rest of the drone is made out of carbon fiber, and carbon fiber doesn't like burning particularly. So yeah, there is wooden parts in it.
Hold on. Might look like those might be old. Give me a sec here. Let me see.
That's why it's good to verify these things.
Yep, that's why I tell you guys when we're doing these things live, give it some time. Yeah, those are actually from July of a different incident, right? So those.
Which one?
Both those photos. The photos of the police officers are from July. That video, however, that video that I showed, not confirmed to be old, but just the photos of that scene. So, these are old photos.
Video is dated 02/30. I mean, oh, that's just the recording. No, it's just the recording of the screen.
What I'm saying is that these photographs that are currently on the screen, these are old photographs. Demon AOC says, nice, Matt. Thank you very much. Latau just got in live. Poland is a part of NATO, so if Russia attacks, then NATO gets involved. That is going to be up to Poland whether or not they choose to enact Article 5, and if they do, then NATO is going to, basically vote and jump in on whether or not it's a thing. I think it's going to be pretty hard for Russia to try to pretend like this wasn't some sort of an attack at the end of the day. So you figure even if every single one of these drones is shot down by NATO forces, how are they going to disprove that this large wave of drones wasn't sent into Poland as an actual attack? They just happen not to find their marks. And not only that, you not just have drones that appear to be coming out of Ukraine, right? But you also have drones that are coming out of Belarus. And it's not just being reported out of Belarus going into Poland. I also want you guys to remember we have reports of these drones going over into Moldova as well. What was the other name of that country that we haven't been able to confirm yet? I forget. Slovakia. Yeah. So I haven't seen anything for Slovakia yet. Yeah. So yes, it is possible that could go down and happen that way. Let's see. Yeah, F-35s are going offline after they ended up refueling. We've been tracking a refueling tanker with confirmed NATO fighter jets that were up in the area, including the F-35s. John says, yep, Trump was interviewed a couple minutes ago. Matthew McDonald gifted out 10 Speak the Truth memberships. Appreciate it. Joe Saunders said the internet's lighting up with Trump on the move. Chill Gameplays says, crazy how this happens 10 months before I get out of the army. I'll get my bags ready.
Oh, I
It'll
know.
probably be well. Let me tell you something, brother. If you only signed a 2 or a 4 year contract, congratulations. They still have another 4 or 6 years to pull your butt back in the military. And if this turns into a big deal, you better believe you're getting pulled back in. So remember that. You could also get stop lost. Yeah, ask some GWAT vets how they felt about that. Mary says, Matt, I hope you have a great time on your journey. I appreciate all the hard work you do day in and day out. And mods. Yeah, I really appreciate our mods. Time to make things possible. Texas is one of our mods, and he's also helping co-host tonight. So I really appreciate that because we're all getting all sorts of different intel that's being poured in right now. Yep. So understood from my buddy. Message received. Yep. Okay, I need to answer this message.
Sorry, I was muted. Also, turns out I don't know if you can confirm this real quick. If you still have your flight tracker on,
Yeah, I do.
if the Italian AWACS just killed its transponder as soon as it crossed into Polish airspace.
I was tracking that Italian AWACS a little bit ago. That ended up coming out. And yeah, she gone.
Yeah,
wait. There we are. Hold on. There we are. Got the Bombardier Challenger 604. Pretty sure that's the AWACS. No, it says it's a business jet.
No, it's not.
That's not it. That's not it. That's not the AWACS. Yeah.
AWACS is killed. AWACS killed it, and the F-35 killed it too. And then the tanker is heading out of its loiter pattern. It did 1, 2, 2, 8, 2 figure eights. I'm gonna guess it takes a half of a figure eight to refuel a jet. That's a pretty wide figure eight. So they probably refueled 2 to 4 jets just based on my estimate on that.
They're gonna be refueling a couple of them. Let me get this back up there. What do we have over here? What is this? What the heck?
It's leaving its refueling pattern.
What is this tiny little guy? What is he doing up on the map? Oh, dude, get out of the airspace before you get confused to be a drone, man. This you can't see the feed. You're up over on Discord.
I see the feed. I see the feed.
Like this little guy. Why are you flying around right now at 2 a.m., buddy? Like, go home. You know, actually, there's probably like a good reason for
pole.
That. Say what now?
I said it sounds like a drunk pole.
yeah. I mean, they do that. And do have a pole.
That airplane looks like it has an engine out of a lot or something.
All right. So oddly enough, Moldova's airspace looks like it is completely cleared out. Not that there's a buttload of flights going in and out of there. We do have an aircraft that's parked on the ground over in Moldova that looks like it landed safely.
Yeah, Slovakia is clearing out too. There's
Slovakia is clearing
flight crossing. Yep, Slovakia has 3 flights over the whole country, and again, Slovakia isn't the busiest, but it is busy on a standard night. If you can go in the way back machine, I don't know if you can.
You can't. No. Well, so the other thing is that people have to understand with like these aircraft and why they're like they typically end up diverting around Ukraine in general because of the war. And the other thing that I noticed too up over inside Belarus is there was a lot of aircraft that were like in or out going up over there. You still have some people. This guy's flying towards Moscow, so of course he doesn't care if he flies over Belarus. But it looks like there's a lot of people that are starting to avoid Belarus as well.
So there was a message that Belarusian fighter jets were chasing a drone that was heading towards Poland from Belarus as an accident. They were trying to get it before it enters Poland. Again, it was just a report that was reported that Belarusian fighter jets are in the air chasing a drone. Well, that could also be why they would clear out their airspace. Because if they're gonna have any sort of engagement with that jet is going into that refueler is going into a new figure eight.
Where's he at?
Or refueling loiter. He's in the same. He just moved out of the original figure eight that he did with the F-35, and now he's starting a new loiter. At the bottom between the border of Slovakia and Poland.
So it makes me wonder too if that's the case. If you don't have aircraft that are flying out of Slovakia, that are going up there and getting refueled as well, that they're just literally defending this entire
most
border
probably not Slovakia, most probably Rizazo. So U.S. F-35s are stationed in Rizazo.
Well, you shouldn't say that.
Well, it's public information that That's where the U.S. has the Ukrainian hub. It's just public. Like they've announced it. Even I mean that's one of the places where they have stationed F-35s. This is not a secret. This is like they have it on the tarmac. They were in a public airport. Like,
Yeah,
um, yeah. So I don't think they would fly out of Slovakia, but they might be flying into Slovakia to intercept. And that's, to be honest, like again, you know where I am. You can look at the distance yourself
sure.
without putting it on the screen. That's probably, if I'm gonna go outside right now, I'll probably hear jets over the sky.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that just to keep it.
Yeah,
Let's see here.
yeah.
Chiller Gameplays says, I've been in 8 years, but I'll stick with my guys. I don't trust a lot of my fellow NCOs to lead my guys on the deployment. They only care about themselves. Yeah. That is the proper answer as an NCO. That means that you actually care about your guys. So I really appreciate that answer, man. So I wholeheartedly understand that, man. Night Keep ends up coming and gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Appreciate it. You get any more updates or anything like that from any more
Well, I
drones?
can tell you what.
airspace?
Right now, we have an alert that 4 Tu-95 MS bombers have taken off from Engels Air Base heading towards launch sites. So we're expecting cruise missiles in Ukraine within the next 2 to 3.5 hours.
Okay. Second, I'm going to check on my buddy over here, see if he's been able to crank out any new updates on this. Fighter jets from Germany, Netherlands, Britain, and the United States and Poland, along with early warning aircraft and area refueling tankers, respond to defend the Polish airspace from a Russian drone attack. That just got put out 1 minute ago by Intel Schizo, and he, like I said, he does some really solid work. I do trust him.
Yeah, I spoke to him before. He does have quite good intel. He tries not to put out stuff without some sort of source.
Correct. No, he's very good about validating everything. And here we have that Italian AWACS that was flying down and had just entered into the Polish airspace. And you guys can see its flight tracking as it goes in there before it ended up flicking off its transponder. So now that's 2 confirmed AWACS system that we have up over what do you call it? Eastern Poland, right? Along with Lord only knows how many jets. We were tracking somewhere around a dozen drones that had actually broke and or were heading towards the border of Poland. We got reports of 2 drones that had actually been engaged and shot down. We did see a false report, a report, maybe not false, unconfirmed report that was using old images that were trying to claim that Poland had actually engaged and shot down several different drones. I'll tell you guys, if you do get new information, my X handle, I'm having problems on this, is down there in the bottom corner of the screen. It's much easier to do here. It's right here at the bottom corner of your screen. If you guys need something, feel free to tag me in it. We'll be able to put that up on the screen as things come through, as long as it's verifiable, good information. Ghost Hybrid says, why are these military aircraft flying with their transponders on? Are they making a statement? Those aircraft they're flying with their transponders on are flicking them off once they get done with either A, aerial refueling, or B, once they enter into Polish airspace. And so when we do see transponders flick on, likely they're procedures that they're doing with NATO. I don't know. I wasn't a fighter pilot. I do know one, though. Might be able to get him on the phone to kind of talk through what some of this is going through. Let me actually shoot him a message, because he is a...
Yeah, that would be cool, because I think that what you just said, that theory is correct. I think I've heard that from another fighter pilot YouTuber that has done like breakdowns like this. Usually, like the fuel tanker will have its transponder on, so everybody can see, like the other pilots can see where it is, and set up their flight plan to like integrate with that refueler, and then they'll flick on their transponders, so they can obviously be tracked by ground stations and between each other, so they can do this accurately and whatnot. I mean, I guess this is what I go based off of another breakdown that he did, or fighter pilot did on YouTube. But yeah, you should ask him. It would be cool to know.
I did. I just sent him a message. Those of you who don't know who he is, his name's Jeff Fisher. He graduated. I don't want to speak for him. I've had him on the show a couple times. He's graduated from the equivalent. I forget what the heck the Air Force calls it. Navy calls it Top Gun. Air Force calls it something else. I forget. But he's graduated from that course, and he's got tons of flight hours. He's very knowledgeable in the F-35s, the AWACS system, how they all integrate. A lot of the information I end up getting on the system, I end up getting from him. Rhino says it's crazy that no matter what incoming is received. Trump just plays along and doesn't respond with equal force. I think he is just afraid of the media. I disagree with that statement. I think what Trump has been doing, regardless of what's happening, and we've seen it happen over inside of Israel and Gaza, where he has tried negotiating with Hamas, and then now you are seeing Israel being cut loose over inside Gaza. Biden administration sure as hell didn't do that. I told you guys when it came down to Iran, give it some time, because the U.S. is going to end up bombing Iran, because Iran is not going to come around. They're going to continue to want to enrich uranium. I don't even trust what they signed with the IAEA and that they're going to keep to it. There's no reason for us to trust Iran with that. And now at the same time, what we were seeing over inside Ukraine with Russia is we're seeing Trump again trying to negotiate with Russia to get them to come to a reasonable deal. And he keeps violating it. And this, in my opinion, is kind of a step up or an escalation. But like I said, if these F-35s end up engaging all of these drones out of the sky, how can you confirm which ones were carrying payloads and which ones weren't, which ones were doing what business? They're going to have to go over and scrape all that stuff up off the ground, and then they're going to have to analyze it like post-blast. And they're going to have to figure out whether or not they were, because some of them are going to get load orders, some of them get parts and pieces. Maybe they're going to shoot them down with guns. Dude, I don't know how they plan on doing this or what orders they are being, given as it goes to shooting these things down. But they're definitely going to be able to pull some information off these drones to determine what Russia and or Belarus, because again, it looks like, unconfirmed, but it definitely looks like some of these drones were being fired out of Belarus. And so if that's the case, then yes, we have multiple violations of Article 5 going into Poland. Now, we have had multiple munitions before splash down in both Poland and Moldova. All right. But all those ended up getting written off in the past. I think what you're looking at here is a completely different situation. This is a huge uptick. Like I said, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Was it 2 weeks ago, Texas, when we had that U.S. factory over in Western Ukraine that ended up getting smashed?
two plus
right.
weeks ago.
So about 2+ weeks ago, somewhere around there, we ended up having the U.S. factory, largest U.S.-based business in Ukraine, ended up getting hit. Place is so large, it ends up trading on the NASDAQ. And then we ended up seeing the UK consul get smashed. They at least tried to target it. I think it wasn't a direct hit from what I could tell, but it ended up like smashing down on the street. And in that time frame, we've also seen an uptick, if you will, of the amount of drones Russia has been shooting at Ukraine, along with ballistic and cruise missiles.
I mean, with Russian accuracy, I would say that was a direct hit.
Yeah. I mean, as far as Russia is concerned, they were trying to hit that building for dang sure.
Yeah.
If that was, Russia just pretending that they were going to be able to go down there, man,
it's like they just hit the parliament this week and they said, oh, we didn't even try to. It was debris falling.
Right.
But Ukraine pulled out the warhead of an unexploded Iskander 450 kilogram warhead that didn't detonate. So imagine how bad it would have been if it did detonate. So that impact, that fire, that only top floor that you saw damaged in the parliament building was from the impact of the missile without the actual warhead detonating.
Yeah.
This came out of the prime minister and the president's office.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see something a little bit more coming back. Like I would expect after this, regardless of whether or not you have actual payloads being carried on these drones, or whether or not they're just reported incursions like we've seen in other NATO countries of Russian drones, I would expect to see retaliation, because you're not really sanctioning at that point. This administration has been running on
itching for that.
Well, this administration has been running on peace through strength, and we've seen it numerous times over the course of this year where they have tried negotiating, they've tried talking, and that doesn't work. And what ends up resulting in is people just getting the crap bombed out of it. Dude, even the Houthis, we totally forgot about the Houthis. We even tried that type of stuff with the Houthis, but, we were bombing them underneath the Biden administration, but not nearly to that extent. The Biden administration was more or less floating around over in the Red Sea and was just, playing whack-a-mole with, different aircraft, ballistic missiles, and drones that were being fired at, the boats that were operating in international waters. Jason says Russia is testing the waters to see if NATO's response and to see how far they can go before they get pushed back. I think NATO needs to take a tougher stance. Right. And, there's not really a middle ground that you can take here. United States already has imposed massive sanctions on Russia, and that has hurt them really, really bad. It's hurt them economically. Ukraine has been going after heavily the Russian infrastructure. When I was debating Scott Ritter, what was it, last week or the week before, he tried, claiming that the fuel shortage inside of Russia is all just a big hoax and that he never saw it while he was over there. Well, maybe he was too busy staring at 5-year-old girls to not pay attention to the massive fuel lines. I'm sorry?
That was a one. That wasn't a debate. That was a one-way beat down. You gave
Yeah.
it. You gave him a beat down on that one.
Yeah, you're dang right I
The
did.
one line that I clipped and sent to so many people. I mean, that was worth the whole listening to that whole getting a headache of listening to him talk. That one line where you said, "I'll put up my arrest record next to yours."
Well, yeah, when he said, I'll put my DD-214 up against yours, I said, great, I'll put my arrest record up against yours any day. And I'm not even talking, I'm not even talking about the guys that I personally threw in jail. Yeah, no, he didn't get quiet. He told me to go F myself. That's what he did.
Yeah,
but that's what happens when you're a pedophile that reports for RT and or whatever the hell it is, like Russian state media. Domino's Pizza reporting an uptick over there. Busier than usual around 7 p.m. is being reported. So if you guys are, Pizzagate subscribers, there you go. All right, so busier than usual. District Plaza Pizza. That is like the third or fourth report I've seen of that stuff going down. So I would assume that. I'm also going to give a different buddy of mine a shout. Let me go back over and check my signal messages real quick. See where I'm at on that one. Not hearing back from my fighter pilot buddy. So he's a little bit busy, but he's also overseas. So not getting that one out. Yep. Ooh, hold on. I need to read this real quick. There is, so this came from reliable source. Initial reports say a Russian drone fell over near Zamosk inside Poland. I'll get that up on the map here. They are Shahed type drones, and they're stating that they're at least 30 to 50 kilometers deep over inside Poland. Same update on the Rizal airport. How do you pronounce that, man? I always screw that one up.
Rizazo
Airport. All right, in eastern Poland, closed. That NOTAMs is currently in effect. The Giran 2 drones Giran 2 drones have been flying through Belarus into Poland, and Polish jets are definitely buzzing around all over the dang place. That is a really good update. I will need to download this and upload it after I play it, so give me just a sec here.
It's another video of just
fighter jets buzzing around.
Speed.
That's what that is. Yep. So numerous fighter jets that are over there. I appreciate that. I will be checking these as often as humanly possible to make sure I get them up there. So please continue to send me that stuff. Yeah, he says that one's. He said that one's. He said that. Yeah, he said it's a jet that's tracking him. So likely true. Looks like I got somebody that's a USA Thunderbird pilot that we might be able to get on here. He might be out flying. Give me just a sec. Trying to get a fighter pilot on here.
If you need to bring somebody else on there, what I could do
is you're good. Okay.
I could.
You're fine, brother. At the moment that comes, I'll let you know. But I want to go back and start tracking some of this more stuff again, and check, because I have so many things I'm missing out on. It's insane. But I got to keep an eye on a lot of different stuff, and people are sending me tons of stuff. Yeah, that NOTAMs over Poland. Yep, that was confirmed. So there's your NOTAMs for Poland. And yeah, unplanned military activity, and that is currently what we are tracking on the screen. That unplanned military activity looks like we have heard. And I'll say it's unconfirmed until I hear it from an official government source that I'm actually allowed to name. I have heard that some of these drones did make their way out of Belarus. That's not one of them. Have made their way out of Belarus and over into Poland. Some of them have been tracked across Ukraine going into Poland. And multiple have been shot down so far. We have seen so far F-35s that have been able to flick on their radar momentarily as they were going through, and refueling with the aircraft over there. And we've also got other things that have been closed out. News report that just came in: direct engagement of drones over the sovereign airspace of NATO membership represents a significant development, and indicating a kinetic spillover from Iran-Israel conflict. I would agree with that, actually. That's something that we actually talked about earlier. Is Iran got put in check. Israel ended up launching that attack on Hamas officials. That obviously bothers Iran. So for those of you guys that don't know why all of this is intertwined, this is something I've talked about quite a bit. Russia and Iran do not have a defense pact together. Okay, so if Iran is attacked, Russia is not guaranteed to go over and help. Russia has that with North Korea. And that's why we see North Korean troops over inside of Russia and eastern Ukraine right now. However, Russia has scientists on the ground over inside of Iran that have been helping with Iran's uranium enrichment program. Russia has backed up Iran on all of that. Now, if you're asking why do they care about Hamas and how does Hamas tie into that, that is because Hamas has been directly funded by the IRGC and Iran. And the IRGC, which is this militant wing that answers directly to the Ayatollah out of Iran, one, they're a foreign terror, or they're a terror organization designated by the United States of America, but two, they are the ones that have been helping out Hamas the most, in my opinion. They're also the ones that have been helping out Hezbollah over inside of Lebanon, and they were working with Hezbollah inside of Syria as well. Iran is in the IRGC also have been very critical in helping, not critical, crucial in helping the Houthis or Ansar Allah down inside of Yemen with the attacks on ships in international waters. And those ships that were operating in international waters, when the Houthis started attacking all those ships and the Red Sea ends up getting closed off, what that does, for me to take and put it on a map for you guys, something I've talked about for a while. Why would they want to do that? Because you have the Suez Canal, and a lot of people forget that Egypt is a BRICS nation, right? You have the Suez Canal that cuts through there. So all of the ships that normally would go through that Suez Canal, it's like 10 times the distance. It's insane. Have increased cost to get their fuel all the way over there. Russia's number one source of their GDP ends up coming from fuel sales, like refined petroleum products. And they're able to send that from Russia just straight down through the Suez Canal and make its way over to Asia, and they end up getting in there for dirt cheap, right? So they're able to offload it. As long as their price per barrel ends up staying underneath or above $65, they're doing okay. So as everybody else is busy shipping their oil all the way around Africa because the Houthis are attacking their freaking tankers, Russia is making out like bandits, right, going through there and making that happen. And so with these attacks that are taking place on the Houthis over inside Yemen, with Hamas about to be wiped out, with Hezbollah, by the way, a lot of people don't know is about to be done for. Lebanon has actually came out and actually started getting rid of Hezbollah. All of that is Iran's power. It's the way they project themselves in the Middle East. And they are, whether we want to admit it or not, a strategic partner as far as Russia is concerned because of what they control over there as far as the Russian economy is concerned. Russia doesn't give two craps about Israel. Russia doesn't give two craps, like Putin doesn't care anyways, about all that stuff. But what he does care about is being able to fund his war effort. And he's not going to be able to do that if his oil price gets too low. And so by doing that, they're able to basically compete with everybody else. They can slide in, they can sell their stuff, they can get around sanctions, everything else. But that $65 is kind of like key for them in maintaining their economy. Let's go back over here and check this out. Texas, did I miss anything on that? All right, there we got our AWACS systems back online.
Just browsing real quick some Ukrainian Telegram stuff, so I'll be zoned out for a second.
Yep. So our AWACS system is back online. Now, I would suspect at this point in time, they've probably got, if there was just, a dozen or so drones that they ended up getting all those shot down. Looks like aircraft are now re-entering into Moldova's airspace. This one's coming from Tel Aviv.
So there's a report now on a Ukrainian channel of another batch of, that is 14, 10, and 7. 14, 10, and 7 that was just launched from Russia into Ukrainian airspace, and they're heading the same flight path. If they are heading there and won't get intercepted in Ukraine or not deviating on the flight path, they are heading the same direction up on the top part of Ukraine over Kiev, the whole land towards Lviv. So that is another...
well, I mean, if they go smashing Lviv, that's one thing. So you're saying are they coming up from like northeast, like north of Kharkiv?
Yeah, they're coming yes. So they're coming up of from higher than that. Here, I'll send it to you. Some of them heading towards Kiev. Some of them are just bypassing Kiev right now. Some of them are passing Kiev right now. Hold on, how do I send you this? 1 second, I gotta get out of this page. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that ends up going into the assessment that I was reading off earlier is it's going to trigger high-level consultations with NATO, right? At a bare minimum, this is going to open up new questions within NATO, right? This right here should be Whether or not, Poland actually ended up getting a direct strike, the fact that so many freaking drones were fired over there, if it is confirmed that they were coming out of Belarus, it's a bigger problem. When Ukraine, and I'll tell you why it's a big problem. During the initial invasion of Ukraine back in 2022, Russian troops ended up pouring out of Belarus to go and surround Kiev, and to invade Ukraine. And so Belarus was very complicit in that. And as far as I'm concerned, they've got off pretty dang easy. They've gotten off very, very easy. And so if they are now partaking in Russia's violation of yet another country's border, this time it happens to be a NATO country, I don't think Belarus is going to get off so easy. I think they're going to get pounded just as hard as Russia if we so decide to do so. You don't get to play these games, man. You really don't. I know a lot of people are talking about, well, if that ends up happening, Russia ended up blowing its nuclear threshold last year. Sure. Russia also has tried to fire numerous ballistic missiles and failed. Right, some of their nuclear-capable ballistic missiles and failed. U.S. answered back by firing Minuteman ballistic missiles. Trump, the last I checked, and there was no announcement for them pulling out. Normally, we don't announce the movement of our nuclear subs. And just prior to Donald Trump meeting up with Vladimir Putin up over in Alaska, that same week, we ended up sending 2 nuclear subs over near Russian territory, and that was right after that act of God incident ended up coming in, that big earthquake over there that ended up triggering a tsunami and taking out the main Russian subport up over on the eastern side of Russia, right? So we'll call it the American side of Russia. So all of those are still in play as far as I'm concerned until we hear otherwise. Yeah, Chill Gamer says that airport that I ended up mentioning that he was stationed over there for a rotation. Town's got a bunch of college kids, families, and some old friends of his. So he hopes that they're all okay. I haven't heard anything of that coming out of there. Oh, Nate Vance, dude. I love him to death. Ever since I brought him on the podcast, him and I have just turned into friends, and I just love having him. All right, let me get that closed out and get this new one up there. Do you have any new updates that are coming out of this, man? Texas, you fall asleep on me?
Oh, sorry, I was mute talking to who.
Oh, yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, nothing right now. Just tracking. Same thing. There's a new batch of drones. I'm waiting for there's obviously going to be a statement put out or something. I don't know if they're gonna wait for the morning. Polish are usually very calm with it. Like the last few times it happened, like the next day is like, oh, Polish authorities investigating debris of Russian impact site, So, but this is obviously not that. There is, like, it's literally trending, like drones, Poland, drones, NATO hit, Russia war. All these things are trending on every social site.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
We've also got airspace closed over Warsaw. I forget if I ended up reporting that or not, but it's the same thing.
No, we
military activity.
We spoke only on the other one.
Yeah, so airspace over Warsaw is now closed. That's a pretty significant development. That's a hell of a lot further west. So
apparently, all NATO countries just raised their threat levels on a high alert after Poland.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame them. I'm sure other countries probably are launching other aerial assets to do some sort of like scanning and making sure. But the good thing is, again, this is something that people can actually take out of this whole thing. Put all aside the reason, are they real drones? Are they meant to attack? All of this put aside. In the end of the day, it's like Ukraine is acting as that shield. Ukraine is notifying, hey, you guys, you have 5 hours until those drones, or 2 hours until those drones are going to be in your border. Like all of these things. The fact is, if people are saying that, oh, Ukraine doesn't do it, like isn't fighting Europe's war or isn't a shield for Europe, you must not know what reality you live in if you say that, because in the end of the day, Ukraine is literally like everything that Europe needed in between them and Russia. So, yeah.
So
pretty much you can call it its early warning system.
That's really interesting. Colonel Hubbard just reported there's a KC-135 refueling a C-17 over South Carolina right now, and a C-5 Mike is flying south out of Virginia towards North Carolina. Oh,
What does that mean?
I'm not going to speculate on what that means. I'm just going to leave that to myself. Yeah, if anybody's in the 82nd and wants to shoot me a message, feel free. No, actually, don't do that. Do not do that.
I had a laugh.
Say what?
No, sorry, I'm gonna mute myself. I want to message somebody
yeah,
on a
please.
voice.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see here. Looks like another NOTAMs over Lublin Airport. Grab that one and get that up. That's going to be our third NOTAMs that we ended up seeing. So it basically looks like they're shutting down basically all of Polish airspace. So let me grab that and get that up on the screen over here. Yes, whoever 100% it is. Let me grab that. So there's your NOTAM. Sorry, it's a little bit small. That is going to be for the Lublin Airport over inside of Poland. So that is now the third NOTAMs that we have that is being sent out of Poland. So if you guys are just now joining us, what we were tracking earlier, let me go ahead and grab that original one and get that up on your screen. We have plenty of aircraft that are up in the sky right now. Give me one sec. Oh, that ain't the right one. So originally this started off from us tracking an AWACS, followed by numerous reports of drones. This was the first wave that has been reported that was coming out of Ukraine/Belarus and going into Poland. Also reports that you guys can see all the way down over here inside of Moldova of numerous drones that were en route down there. I just checked Moldova and it looks like their airspace is open. At least they're allowing aircraft to land at their airport over there. Jason Carmichael says, what would you think about a slow moving nuke? It's just a drone. I think that sure, man. I mean, is it possible? Sure. We had literal jumpable nukes back in the day that SF guys would use. I mean, I forget what the heck these things were called. I forget what the project was called. I'm sure we got some old team guys that are hanging out in the chat. Yeah, they'll remind me of what it's called. But I mean, these guys used to literally jump with nukes in between their balls. Talking to some of the guys that used to be on those teams, or one of them, excuse me, not some. There's not exactly that many. It was basically understood that those guys that were jumping these freaking nukes in, that were on like these legitimate like man carried nuke teams back in the day, that one, they had a remote operating system that you'd be able to fire these suckers off, right? So you literally had a push button. So the idea, you could jump these guys in, they could jump in with their nuke, they could set them down, and this was years ago. And set them down and be able to like clack them off at a great distance. But it also had an additional setting, basically a self-destruct mode, if you will, and the guys weren't going to be able to get far enough away. Project Blue Light, thank you very much. Is Ukraine getting logistics moved through Moldova? I'm not going to be talking about the different logistics route that I know. Somebody ended up mentioning Billy Waugh, Manta Dang Legend, green light teams. Yep. And so we've got all sorts of different. I mean, it was an insane concept that actually ended up being used. Yeah, it's fun to see the amount of people that are tracking me and putting me in some of these different chats. Going over here to check out some of my different messages I have incoming. Yep, and here is the report. Looks like another group of drones is headed towards Poland through Volyn. About 70 drones are currently in the air. In addition to Poland, the threat is to Kiev, Lviv, Lutsk, Zhytomyr, and Chernihiv. That ended up getting pushed through approximately about an hour ago via Telegram. Let me see if I can grab that. See if we've got anything else that's being pushed through some of my Telegram feeds, even though I don't necessarily trust all of Telegram of what ends up coming down there. Yeah, there's your NOTAMs that ended up coming out for Lublin. That's not what I'm concerned about. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of there because Telegram drives me nuts. I don't know how people pull their news feeds off of Telegram. That drives me insane. But get back over here. Check for some other updates for you. So yeah, if there is indeed another drone wave that's being launched that does fit right within Russia, this was the initial one, like I said, that was being shot over there. This would put Belarus in crosshairs, and this would also put Russia obviously in its crosshairs. So waiting to see what happened. We did get numerous reports coming out of Poland that the aircraft were up. I've heard videos that haven't even played for you guys I've had sent to me by friends that do confirm that you have aircraft that are just scrambling over the skies of Poland right now. Lots of Polish airspace is shut off with all sorts of different NOTAMs. And numerous reports of these drones being shot down. At least 10 that have made their way into Poland is what's being reported. All of this stuff has been unconfirmed. Haven't heard anything come out of any U.S. officials. I'm waiting to hear a statement at least out of Ukrainian officials or NATO officials that are over there inside of Poland or Germany or somewhere that is tracking all of this stuff. Is that a nuke in your pocket, or are you just Billy Wah? Dude, Billy's a legend, man. I love old SF dudes. Those guys had some serious balls on them. I talked to, I don't even want to get into it. I don't want to get that far into the story. Try to stay on track here.
Matt.
Yes, sir.
I'm just getting a report right now that there are no more flying UAVs over Polish airspace at this time. Polish Air Force remain in the air.
Yeah.
Just got a message right now.
Yeah, I feel like that was enough. If nothing actually crashed and exploded, I would be pretty shocked, that nothing actually crashed down, exploded, and killed anybody. And that if all it is, is like additional drone waves and stuff like that that are being shot or being fired over there. Question really is going to remain on whether or not Russia is going to continue to do this throughout the night. If Russia continues to fire drones throughout the night, there's always a possibility that they end up going through. Those fighter jets are going to be scrambled all night long. Same thing with those refueling tankers. Those are going to be up there. You're going to see more AWACS. You're going to see more like aircraft get moved in there, start defending some of these NATO countries. I wouldn't be surprised if we looked up over at other ones like Estonia, Lithuania, places like that they end up also watching their borders, because if Russia's going to be trying it in Poland, they're going to be trying it elsewhere. If you guys want to know why Russia would be so pissed off and targeting Poland in this manner, it's because that is where the majority of supplies are being trucked into Ukraine. That is where a good chunk of NATO troops is staged at outside of Ukraine. Andrew Gagner says, at what point do NATO aircraft start downing them over Ukraine? It's a very good question. Texas, have you heard of that? Thoughts of that? I know I've heard that thought thrown around for a while, but I think Poland doesn't.
I've recently, Poland has said they will not engage targets over Ukraine due to triggers of escalation or whatever. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they don't want to be looked at like they're firing munitions, and so they don't like.
I have a feeling that not all drones have been shot down yet, because just like Intel just posted 6 minutes ago, these NOTAMs, if you're tracking the NOTAMs, they're coming out further and further into Poland slowly.
Correct.
So it's like almost as if these drones keep pushing further and further into Poland, and fighter jets are chasing them down. So they're closing down the airspace, because originally they only closed down right by the border, and then they furthered it into Warsaw. Now they're furthering it in. Well, it's just a theory, because Intel also posted that it's pushing in further 6 minutes ago. That's
yeah. I mean, we had heard 30 to 60 clicks, 30 to 50 clicks. So
50 plus, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to be way deeper than that at this point. And those NOTAMs, yeah, they're going to keep those out there, probably just out of fear that they miss some, because that radar system isn't perfect, right? Like things will appear.
Yeah, they're going to start. They're going to start. They're going to start doing what they do every time there's a report. They're going to start sending out like search parties to like start locating crash sites and stuff like that, and then close them down. And probably by tomorrow, once it's like, I mean, in a couple hours for you guys, but when it's morning over here, you'll start seeing more like locals waking up, videos coming out of stuff like that. Hey, this farmer found the drone in his field or whatever like that. You'll start seeing that.
Yeah. They definitely shot down drones. I'm in a big group chat, and somebody's over there standing up for it, being like, nope, no, they shot those suckers down. I've heard that from numerous people right now. Like, I feel confident to say that there's drones, like with that amount of reporting, I feel confident saying that drones have been shot down over Poland by NATO aircraft. More than confident. The question is how many were launched, whether or not we're going to get confirmation on the actual number, and how they ended up launching them in there. I'm very curious to see whether or not Moldova and Slovakia were also involved in this, because that would suggest that coordinated attack on NATO, and that is just one way that you're not going to get out of trying to state that this was some sort of a mistake like they did with the cruise missiles or the other drones, right? And plus, all of those ended up splashing down in fairly close proximity to the Polish border. Right.
NATO leaders have been summoned for an emergency meeting due to rising tensions at 2 a.m. in Western Europe.
There it is.
So,
yep, there's going to be a I don't know, man. NATO's NATO's not strong, but I think NATO's getting sick of this crap. Like it's a huge provocation. So this is Lublin over in eastern Poland. Let me get this up.
Yeah, I just got that video too.
Somebody's claiming Tim Kennedy claimed he downed a drone. That's hilarious.
Probably with a bag of grenades.
He's just
chucking it at
pulling him out of his. Yeah, let them freaking fly, right? Yeah, I don't think that's happening though. Yeah. Let me go back over here and check this other location. So yeah, I mean, undoubtedly, there's going to be plenty of videos I can play of these fighters just going around. I'm actually tempted to take a quick break until we get more reports of these things coming in. They're going to have some loiter time, things of that nature, and we get some more reports of this coming out. But yeah, dude, you're talking anywhere between 10 to 15 drones, estimated somewhere in that neighborhood that actually crossed the border over into Poland that we were aware of, or that was getting reported. Numerous reports of them getting shot down, over 50 kilometers deep inside of the Polish border, which is in, not historically how those stray drones or those stray cruise missiles have wound up over inside Poland in the past. We have seen them splash down in Moldova before. Reports of them being in Moldova. I mean, how do you think NATO's going to respond, man? Do you expect anything out of them?
I mean, it's a very difficult thing to say because how can they respond? They're gonna bomb Russia? No, I don't see NATO bombing Russia. I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting. I don't think NATO, like, to be honest, I don't think they, like, Europe has balls. Like, to be very fair with you, I don't think any European country is at a stage right now within their own country that they, other than Poland. I can see Poland do something because Poland has been itching for a fight with Russia. Like, we both know that. But Poland is also smart and they want their economy to grow like it's been doing, and like their country to be the safest and the smartest and the greatest country in Europe, which they have been doing. So they might not want to steer off that plan just because of this, depending of what the outcome of this. We don't know if they might have a media blackout on their end, shut down a site that got hit. Could have been a house in a random farmhouse, or
yeah, and I mean,
we don't know. Like, it's gonna take time for that to come out.
Yeah, describe Poland for a lot of you guys. Like, there is a lot of like farmland and country land and stuff like that,
especially in this area.
Right.
Especially in this area. Like I said, I've driven this route from Ukraine to mid Poland, or even through the whole of Poland, and that route between Ukraine and Krakow, you're driving through very few large cities. The rest is like lands and hills and mountains.
It's beautiful though. A lot of Poland's beautiful.
It is very, very nice. It's probably the like the trip through Poland is probably the nicest stretch through Europe, and I've driven across all of Europe pretty much. Yeah, Poland is especially this part of Poland, it's a very calm, quiet, early night. Like, it'll be quiet. There's not much traffic going on. It's just like, so that's what I'm saying. It's a very like.
So this is allegedly posted up by the Times of Ukraine. This allegedly got put out by the Times of Ukraine, showing that new wave that's making its way over to Poland right now. I honestly couldn't tell you how accurate that is, how many, but I mean, we are seeing more closures.
I just got another one. Apparently, again, this is from a source that most of the time puts out good information. Russian UAV made it as far as 270 kilometers into Polish airspace, and is heading towards Germany.
Well, that's gonna get shot down over somewhere safe. I mean, that's Russia. If that is true, that's clearly Russia sending a ding message. That's what that is. And if that is true, if they are shooting them that far out, I do expect NATO to respond to this militarily. I would. I would expect NATO to respond to this militarily. That's a big deal.
I'm gonna bookmark that, and then I'll check on once there's comments on it.
Yeah, I'm very curious to know whether or not that's true. But if there is in fact another drone wave coming, they're gonna. I mean, this is gonna be short work for NATO aircraft as long as they're able to pick up on them all, which they likely will. People are saying it's a test, but what you got to understand when it goes down to the laws that we abide by inside NATO, inside the UN, is you do not have to get shot before you shoot back. All right. There is provocation. There is imminent threats and imminent danger that goes underneath it. I believe it's Article 51 of the UN. I was just reading on this earlier. All right. Self-defense, when it goes down, if you have an imminent threat, you are allowed to respond. And this within itself, all right, this one not confirmed, but numerous of the Shaheeds being flown into Poland, that's an issue.
Lviv has right now between 5 and 15 drones over the city heading towards the border.
Jesus. That's a lot of drones.
And this is 333, so a minute ago.
Yeah, that's a lot of drones.
Through the monitor system. Well, yeah, that's.
And I mean, that would be on track here, but I would think at this point, if there's an emergency meeting getting called in, I would not wait. You know what I mean? Because there's also like plenty of farmland on the outside. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if Poland or NATO decides it's time to just start shooting those things down before they even enter the airspace. Like, we've got standoff munitions that we could shoot across the border and take care of some of these things. Obviously, we would have to be able to confirm and deconflict with Ukraine.
That part of over the border is very, very populated in Ukraine on the Ukrainian side.
Yeah, so you have to wait and time it out.
Even not only Lviv, even the other cities around Lviv. There's Lodz. There's a lot of smaller cities around there.
Yeah, it's right there on the map. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they are letting it get in. So
these are all north of
on the Polish sides. There's a lot more farmland.
You do have more
in the. So I don't know. Maybe it's the strategy, but I'm trying to see what they wrote here.
I forget what the name of that stupid big old highway is that travels out of Lviv and up over roundabout the other way to Kiev. I think I've only been on it like once.
I'm not mistaken, the M110 or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Yeah, M10.
M10. Yeah, M110 is a semi-automatic sniper rifle.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. It's the M10. Man. It's close enough. It is 3:35 in the morning, and I've been up for approximately 22 hours now. So I can make the mistake of the M10. And
yeah, you're okay, man. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, again, I don't see NATO aircraft entering into Ukraine. I think that would be a pretty big escalation, and we would. If NATO aircraft ended up entering into Ukrainian airspace to start shooting some of these down, Russia would automatically use that as an excuse. So even if this is provocation on Russia's part of trying to drag NATO into the fight, it's not going to turn out good. It's just not. They will sit there and they'll continue to shoot these things down. NATO's going to end up conferring on what they're going to do next. All right, this is if Poland decides that this is an attack and they decide to enact Article 5, that then ends up turning into a NATO decision on what they're going to do next and how they're going to end up coming at, like how they're going to respond. So we'll see what ends up happening. I don't see any of them going down or going over there. Any of the aircraft crossing the border to go into Ukraine yet. I'll say yet. But you also got to understand that we've got like plenty of open water, international water, and things like that. Wasn't the M10 the Booker? I don't remember what the heck the name of the what the nomenclature for the Booker was, to be perfectly honest. Texas, I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out so I can get myself some supper, because I got a feeling I'm gonna have a late night tonight, so I want to be able to eat a little bit before I'm able to come back down. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that.
Yeah, there's one official statement of Representative Joe Wilson.
Okay.
So I guess this is the first official statement of an official in the U.S. about this. Russia's attacking NATO. Is attacking NATO ally Poland with Iranian Shahed drones less than a week after President Trump hosted President, now I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name right now, at the White House. This is an act of war, and we are grateful to NATO allies for their swift response to war criminal Putin's continued unprovoked aggression against free and productive nations. I urge President Trump to respond with mandatory sanctions and I guess just the rest
sanctions.
Is all nonsense.
Give me a freaking break on the sanctions, man. No, they're
war.
sanctioned enough. So they are calling it an act of war. That's good.
I mean, he is. That's an official. Again, he's a very pro-Ukraine representative, but still, it's the first official statement that I've seen from any representative.
Okay.
I can't confirm
we're gonna
there's
get
still
more
fighter jets flying over Western Ukraine right now. So
yeah, yeah. There's fighter jets flying over Western Ukraine and Poland. That I promise you, man. That I promise you.
I can definitely confirm that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go eat something. I'll probably take a nap soon here. I'll be up in a couple of hours, and hopefully NATO is not at war at the
No,
time that
NATO
I
won't be
wake
at
up.
war. If it is, I'm just gonna be blowing your dang phone up, man.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, cause like I would hate to sleep through the actual start of a NATO war.
Yeah.
All right,
About it,
I'm gonna let you go. Yeah, if I see anything more or something comes up on my end, I'll direct it to you, and I'm sure if anything actually goes red hot, you'll pop another
100%,
live
dude.
or
I'll let you know.
whatever to the people.
I'll make sure they know. Yeah. So you guys if you guys aren't subscribed to the
cheers.
channel yet, cheers, brother. Thank you for joining me tonight. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure your notification bell's turned on, because as this goes down, obviously we're going to be tracking it. We're going to be we'll have a lot more information for you guys. I want to thank you for joining me for another one. I'm going to go eat me some chow, and then honestly, hopefully, pray to God, don't have to come back on tonight because Russia's attacking Poland. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how NATO responds. We'll see if we get some statements out of the White House and from the NATO countries. I mean, this is wild. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for everything. If I didn't get to your super chat, I do apologize. It's just one of those nights. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, peace, love, happiness, God bless. I'm out of here.